Welcome into another episode of Profits Picks. We've been having a nice few days to start the week. Let's keep it going. We have three games on the slate today. Hopefully, it's the last time we see two of these teams. I'd like to get some new series going, but let's try to find some ways to make some money on the ones here while we have them. So we'll start as always on the games as they go in order. I'll give you a side and a total on each game, and I'll do my best to give you a player prop that I recommend on each game. We'll start with Orlando Magic taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. And this one opened at Bucks minus 14, still sitting at that 14. Total opening 226.5. And this went up half a point. And I'll say on the spread, I mean, it hasn't made any moves, but you'd have to expect Milwaukee to just come in here and romp Orlando. Granted, it hasn't looked easy every time, but I think they've covered every game except the one that they lost. Magic will be without Aaron Gordon again. I mean, we already know no Isaac. I just don't trust this Magic team. We've seen them get held down by this Milwaukee defense, and I think that's what we see here again. So, with that said, I'll look at the total, and I think if you like the under, I think you like that more so early. I think Milwaukee comes out, shuts Orlando down right away in that first quarter, maybe builds a sizable lead, and put it on cruise control for the rest of the game. That's the way I see this one going. So I would look towards unders early. And if I have to say, I mean, out of all the games that I think had the potential to score points late, maybe in this one, Milwaukee's winning by such a margin that they just take everybody out. So I would probably lean more towards under. It's went under 4-2-2. I think the past what 8 times these teams have played, I would lean towards less points in this game early. Probably first quarter, I like the under as well, but I would lean towards the under on the full game. And as far as a side, like I said, I have to lean towards Milwaukee. I look at Orlando versus competition. 55% win teams are greater. So far this year, 11, 24, and 2 against the spread. And Milwaukee versus the less thans, 22 and 15 against the spread. So I have to rock with Milwaukee. We've seen them do it a couple times already. I think they come out early, like I said. So I would look towards Milwaukee maybe first half, because you can see them take their starters out and not necessarily care so much at the end of the game. They just have to get a win. They don't have to win by 14. Uh, Although they can, if I had to play it, it'll be Bucks early, and I just couldn't bring myself to take Orlando here. I think that they get beat by margin, so I'll take Bucks on the full game spread as well. If I'm looking at a player prop though, I will look for Vucevic for Orlando. I don't think he gets taken out early. I mean, if Magic are trailing, I still think he's in there. If they're down big, he's probably firing more threes. His player prop for the points, I believe, has went over 3 out of the 4 games so far, and his point total sitting at 23.5. So that may be the way I would look here in this one. It's not one that I love, but that is the way that I would look to play that prop there. And we'll go to the next game on the slate, which will be OKC Thunder facing the Houston Rockets. Opening Houston -2, currently seeing -4 on the board. Total opening 225.5, and that's dropped half a point. We're seeing 225. And today's James Harden's birthday. So everybody I know is expecting Harden to have a great game. He hasn't had any distractions in the bubble, no strip clubs, no anything. So I mean, I guess you don't have too much to worry about. Russell Westbrook upgraded to questionable. Excuse me, upgraded to questionable. And I mean, if he's not gonna play now, when is he gonna play? So I would expect him to play. I was already thinking that. I just look at. I mean, I know it's Harden's birthday and Houston's lost 2 straight, but I mean, are we expecting Houston to shoot much better? They shot as good as they shot in the series so far from 3 point range. They shot 40%, and they still lost. I remember earlier in the series, OKC talking about they just wanted to defend Houston without fouling because they're going to shoot those threes, just don't foul. And that's what we saw last game. Not so many free throws for Houston, and that's a big deal when you're facing a James Harden led team. So if they can continue that mindset of not fouling, and I don't think Houston shoots 40% again from three. OKC has figured out kind of. I mean, it's something that they knew earlier on in the year, but for some reason they didn't come out in the series playing that way. But the first two games, the pace was 95.79, and the last two is 102.42. So OKC is playing faster, and that's what's making them be able to score easier. They're a better team when they play faster, and against these better teams, that's the way they have to play. I think you see that again tonight. So when I look at the total, it makes me want to bet it over. Even though I don't think Houston shoots as good, it makes me want to bet it over just because I know OKC is going to challenge them playing an up and down game, and Houston is comfortable with that. But we may see a little more defense than we're used to. I mean, both teams tied up here 2-2. It could be. If I had to play this one on the total, I just have to go with my gut. My gut tells me that OKC plays fast and Houston doesn't mind playing fast with them, especially if Russell Westbrook is in the lineup because I believe he brings some pace with him. So I would lean more towards over that 225. And as far as the side, I mean, I talked a little bit about both teams, but OKC has that clutch. Chris Paul, Westbrook, and Harden. I haven't really seen them be clutch in the playoffs or in the big games. I don't really trust D'Antoni, although I gave D'Antoni credit earlier. He was coaching well. I would look at Houston as a favorite off less than 2 days rest when they're just not playing one of these superior teams, a team with a win percentage less than 70. So like not the Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, just other teams less than that. Against the spread, they're 1-9. The average spread was minus 5.7, and they failed to cover by about 13.4 points per game. They also lost 2 out of the 10 games, so straight up. Looking at OKC, when they're a dog between the lines of 1-5, so far this year they're 15-1 against the spread. Uh, the average line was 2.6. They covered by 6.6 points per game. I think OKC plays a good game here. I think they've kind of figured out the way they have to play the Houston Rockets, and we'll see the way Houston adjusts. I think grabbing the 4 points is pretty safe. I know it's Harden's birthday. I know he's supposed to have a pretty good day, but if I'm playing this one, I have to take those points with OKC. It was a team I liked to win the series before. They came out flat the first 2 games. They made up for it the last 2, and we'll see if they can keep it going. So we'll rock with OKC plus the 4 points, and we'll rock with the over 225. And if I'm looking at props here, if you think, the people who think the angle is Harden's birthday, maybe you look at Harden's points over. But I look more towards OKC's team, and I think OKC still can win the rebounding. Adams, his rebounding total is 10.5. His point total is 10.5. I think he can reach both of those. Also, I think if OKC wins, I know Schroeder is a big deal against this Houston team, but I think we have to see clutch Chris Paul. I think he has to have a good game. He's been playing pretty well, averaging about close to this range. So over 20.5 in a game like this, OKC's gonna need it. I think if they're gonna be close to the Rockets in this game. So those are the ways I would look for the props. And we'll go to the last game. Only 3 games today. Last game on the slate, and that would be the Portland Trailblazers facing the Los Angeles Lakers. Opening Lakers minus 12.5. Currently seeing 13.5. Total opening 227, and we're seeing 222 on the board. And no Lillard for Portland. They were already struggling to score. Their offensive rating was so much better than when they faced the Lakers in this series. They're used to scoring 115 plus. I think they got 115 one time, although they lost by 20 points. And without Lillard, it's just tough to see this team fight. They're tired. They're beat up. CJ McCollum and Nurkic probably going to be the guys. Nurkic is gassed. CJ, he's dealing with the back issues. You have Gary Trent and Carmelo, but it's just not going to be enough versus Lakers defense. We've seen this Lakers defense show up in this series. We know they're a defense first team, so that's the way that I would trust this game to be played. I think that they hold them down. Portland struggles to reach 100. And I would lean to. I don't think Lakers scored too crazy. I know they had a big score in the last game because it was Mamba Day, but I don't think it's that same motivation to go out and just explode offensively. I think they know they can hold this team down defensively. So I would lean more towards the under. And as far as the side, it would have to be Lakers. But I'll probably, I mean, usually I say Portland early, but without Lillard in, I mean, that's part of the reason Lillard plays majority of that first quarter. It's just they're going to be outmatched. Not that they weren't outmatched before, but it's just severely outmatched in this one. I think the Lakers come out and take care of business early. Maybe cruise to victory, be able to take their starters out once again, get them some rest, and let them not be able to get or avoid them getting injured rather. So I would like the Lakers probably first half. I know it's a big spread on the full game. I think they'll cover it. I don't really like taking the big spreads, but I would probably, if I'm playing it, I'm laying it in this one, and on the total, I have to go under. I don't really see too much scoring from Portland in this one. And talking about player props, I look for, I mean, who's going to be the main guy they're looking for to score? It's going to be CJ McCollum. I think the Lakers focus in on him. He's hurt anyway. I think 26 and a half points. He may not get there tonight. They may shut him down early just because he's already hurt if it's a blowout. But I just don't really see him reaching it. I think the Lakers focus in on him. I think if you want somebody to do some scoring maybe or something from the Blazers, I think you maybe look for Nurkic rebounds or maybe points and rebounds. Not too many props I love in this game because I don't really expect Lakers to put their foot on the gas the entire way as far as on the offensive end. Looking at the Lakers, you just expect that defensive presence. So we'll go with the Lakers under that 222, and we'll go Lakers. I mean, I like the first half. I usually give a full game spread. We'll go with minus 13.5, and we'll go McCollum under the 26.5 points. Thank you for rocking with me on another episode of Profits Picks. Hopefully, we can get some of these teams out of here, get some new series going, some more exciting starts. Once again, we get one tomorrow, so we'll look to make some money there. Best of luck if you tell, and good luck on all your action.